Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Peace to everybody out there watching, man. We, 910 Hood Academy. We, uh, we got a special episode here at Manifesto. And, it's been a little minute since y'all seen the episode of Manifesto. So, we gotta get back in the swing of things. I ain't hosted in a little minute, but we got a great show. And as you can see, we have a guest. So, Goddess, if you would introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, people. How y'all doing? My name, as he said, Purp the Goddess. I am from North Carolina, and I would say, a tarot reader, um, energy reader. Also, another little gift that I gotten from my family is being a medium and whatnot. And I'm basically a lyran, yeah, lyran, indigo child and whatnot. So,
Hey, okay.
shout out to all my star seeds out there, my spirit guides, my light workers, everyone out there that's doing any type of work to either to heighten the energy of the earth and do what we got to do out here and to get to a higher dimension. How y'all doing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I love that introduction. For sure, because I ain't even go into that where we, giving acknowledgement to the ancestors, to the earth, all the conscious beings, because we are all connected, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
for sure, thank you for that. And so I want to ask you, right? Like, let's just go ahead and get right into it. You know what I'm saying? I want to ask you, what's the influence for your name, Purp the Goddess?
Oh wow, it's okay. It's a story and whatnot. Purpose something that's always been like with me. Like I was um perp came up when me and a friend we were smoking, and I was doing and and at the time my friend was like, yo, what you gonna call yourself, like as in because I just picked up rapping. I've always been an R&B singer, but I started picking up rapping, and he was like, so what is your rap
Okay.
name gonna be and whatnot. And I love like perp, like because I used to like love smoking and whatnot. I don't smoke anymore, but as in no, nothing to anybody that smokes, daggone, if I could still smoke, daggone, I would too. But
Right.
but yeah, but he was like, you always be smoking perp and whatnot. He was like, why don't you call yourself perp? And I was like, you know what? I like that. I really do. I really do like that and whatnot. So started calling myself perp. And some years later and whatnot, I ended up running into this lady. She was doing publicity for people that did music, entertainers, and all of that. And she was like, I really like your name, Perp, but there's something that we need to add to it and whatnot. Because she's like, people are starting to come out and call themselves Perp and whatnot, but why don't you add something more like some type of something to grab people's attention? And she came up with the goddess. And I was like, oh
That's
wow,
crazy.
okay, that's something there and whatnot. And I was like, and ever since then I rolled with it and whatnot. So it was something that I really embodied throughout the years, not knowing as in the goddess energy, but as in the universe knew of me. So it was brought to me through
Fact.
in the universe, like spirit guides, all of that. And everybody, like, as in, with the universe, they know you before you know thyself. So as in that
Yes.
brought to me in that way, and I rolled with it ever since, just embodying that, not knowing that it was something that was really meant for me.
Was the person that gave you the name, or came up with the goddess part, were they spiritually inclined at all?
No,
Like
no,
spiritually aware?
No, she wasn't at all. It was just like
Wow, that's
some
crazy.
people are just meant to give you messages and whatnot. So
Yeah,
I had a brief moment with her and whatnot, and like, as in, she was just like a spokesperson for a lot of entertainers. And at the time and whatnot, it was very early. Wasn't nobody ever calling themselves goddess and whatnot. So at the time, that's what really stuck with me. Like, okay, it's something rare. And on top of that, I definitely embody that and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, like, let's go with it. I like that.
facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. I love that. And you are 100% right that some people are used as a medium, whether it's our spirit guides, our ancestors. I feel like all of that is tied into one, the universe. Like all of that is, we're all connected, like I said, to where you can get messages from anybody or anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you can turn on the TV and a random commercial could,
Mm-hmm.
say something that can stick with you. And it was a message from high above. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I I love that. I love that. My name TPG. It really, honestly, I want to say Tay came up with it, and I embodied it and took it because um my message has always been peace and love.
Mm-hmm.
Spread peace. But peace is not as many may think. Peace is an acronym meaning positive energy always creates elevation.
Mm.
This guy
Um,
knows his shit.
although we operate out of peace and love, sometimes uh we may have to, do some things that's not much of peace to get to peace, if you get what I'm saying. So,
Yes.
you know, certain people may get that misconstrued when I'm saying peace and love, but it's a real thing though. But yeah, so that was always my thing, my message, peace and love.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they started calling me the peace god.
I
So
I dig it.
I ran with it,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I'm like, shit, like I don't even really want to call myself David no more. I don't even want them because that's honestly that's a slave
It's
name.
a Google name though.
Like, I mean, it's I've grown to like it. I felt like my complexion and my name didn't really match. You know what I'm saying? But it's whatever. I've learned to like it and make it my own thing.
It's-
But
I feel
yeah,
I feel you. Like, as in, my real name is Misha. And a lot of people are like, is it
okay,
Tamisha or Ramisha? No, it's just me and whatnot. So Misha is the female version of Michael, which is Mikael and whatnot. So as
right,
yeah,
right.
so my name and whatnot, the definition in Hebrew is who is like God. So as
Mm,
in with Purp the goddess, God is like God, who is like God. So they correlate with each other and whatnot. And I was always particular about who called me, because I always felt like, as in, Perp the goddess being my alias, and also like a different personality of mine, because as in with Misha is like that vibration of, I rather family or people that actually know me call me by that name, because it's like who is like God. But with Perp the Goddess, it
uh,
was like people, anybody, anywhere and whatnot. It represented like a more of strength to me and whatnot. It's like that, like,
right.
don't you can't come over me, you can't fuck with me type of shit, like with Perp the Goddess. But as in with Misha, it's like my purity form of, like, protecting that name or protecting myself and whatnot. And it's more like the more angelic, the higher, like the higher energy form of me and whatnot. So if you called me by that name and whatnot, it's like I instantly, like, okay, you're familiar, like you're familiar to me. But if I didn't
Yeah,
know you and you call me by that name and whatever, I instantly get like energy about it. Like, who are you? And who are you? And like, nah, you're not qualified to call me that and whatnot.
Nah, yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. And that's okay. So I have a particular nickname, a childhood nickname that I will not speak of because I do not like that shit. But it's kind of like you said, like when certain people say it that know me from my hometown, it's like, okay, cool. Like you know me, it's cool. But my new connections as of like let's say the last past 5 years or so, like they don't even know me by that name. So
Mm.
it's either David or TPG at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I definitely feel you there. I definitely feel you there. And so okay, not the and again, this is the internet or things of that nature. So you only reveal whatever you want to or feel comfortable revealing. And that's in life, period. You only tell people what you want them to know. You only show what you want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? But so so okay, I want to ask you about your upbringing just a little bit. But the
Mm-hmm.
only reason I'm asking about that is because now that I'm spiritually awakened, I find myself looking back on certain instances, certain moments in my life, and certain interactions with people, certain conversations, and it planted a little mental seed, a little spiritual seed within my soul at the time, but I didn't know it though. And then fast forward to today, all those things played a part into my spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess basically what I'm asking is like, was this something that you've always been aware of? Have you always had spiritual awareness during your upbringing, or was it more like a? Because me, I didn't become spiritually aware till like the middle of 2020.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I get what
So
you.
yeah,
Um, Basically, as in my setup here, being on Earth and whatnot, my learning lessons was to get to know thyself and whatnot. So, of course, when you come here to Earth, your memory is wiped. Everybody's memory is wiped here on this learning ball because Earth is basically nothing but a school. It's
fact.
it's a um but basically it's a simulation, there you go, and whatnot. So yeah, there you go, it's a simulation. So as with that, whatever that I planned before I came here and had my memory wiped, I basically like call it like a big like video game and whatnot. There's levels to this
Yeah,
and whatnot. So as with that, when I was younger and whatnot, I didn't notice, like, of course, like me having the spiritual gifts and whatnot. Like as in with me, like I was like Stewie, literally. Like as in I used to try, like, I don't care who doesn't believe or what to believe, but as in the people who know, they know and they get it and whatnot. I used to
right.
communicate telepathically to my people and whatnot, not knowing that they couldn't understand me or listen to me through brainwaves and whatnot. I could
Right.
understand very young. I taught myself, like, I potty trained myself. I taught myself how to talk. I taught myself a lot of things and whatnot. And hearing that and whatever, especially from my mother, and she was basically like, she was very like shocked, but also just thinking just she's just a special child and whatnot. So back then she was very
Yeah.
busy with her life. So with her being very busy with her life, she couldn't really establish like that bond that she was supposed to between me and her. So as in with that, my spirit guides, my angel guides were literally my parents and whatnot.
Fact.
I was mostly raised by my grandmother and whatnot, being around her and my older sister, because me and my older sister are literally 11 years apart. So she was basically a grown woman by the time I was getting of adolescent age. So with
Right.
that, yeah, so with that and whatnot, it was more so me going through these trials and learning these lessons throughout life and whatnot, because I've already been here. Like I'm already basically an old soul and whatnot being here. And I don't
Facts.
really, yes, I don't really have any karmic debt here. All my karmic debt has already been like been encoded like and done within my past lives. So with that, just basically realizing my higher self and whatnot, because as in the spirit guides carrying me throughout this like time and like learning stuff and whatnot, it kept bringing me back to the spirituality and whatnot, and it kept bringing me back to the basics, because as in my family, we wasn't Christian. Our family, my big, like as in my outside family, they're very big Christians and go to church. But my mama wasn't like
Yeah.
that and whatnot. Like as in we didn't have to go to church every Sunday or attend stuff and whatever. But as in God, like as in the creator of this universe, he wanted me to start going to church so it can be start building that spirituality within me and whatnot. So there, like I said, there's
Facts. That's
levels
a
to this.
fact.
Yeah, so there's levels to it and whatnot. So I started like friends or people and whatever, like come to this church and whatnot. So basically, the creator of all things wanted me to get to know him and whatnot. So even if I didn't agree with actual Christianity and religion, it was still being something that implemented in me to start the DNA process of me going to my bringing down my higher self, as in what all indigos go through, indigo children and whatnot. So there's three types of indigo children, and with me I mostly think that I'm the second um version of an indigo child and whatnot, as in we don't come awoken. We have those gifts and powers and whatnot, but they have to be ignited some way somehow and whatnot, like as in like superheroes like you see on comics or whatever, or or in anime or whatnot. They may not know that they have a spiritual gift, but
Yeah.
something sparks that spiritual gift within them, and then they learn that they have it, and then they start learning how to use that spiritual gift, and that was me and whatnot. So it didn't happen on to like in my early 20s and whatnot. I ended up moving to Atlanta and meeting a guy that was Jehovah Witness, and he wasn't really part of the Jehovah Witness and all of that and the third and whatever, but he was very enlightened in spirituality. So I had to go through that little like phase of like church and stuff like that and whatever. And when I went through that and whatnot, and I spoke to him, and he started speaking other things of like as in Jesus, like Jesus is not the only one that has that same backstory. Um there's Allah, um
Hmm.
uh Lord, it's not Set, Isis, Set, and Horus, like as in within
Yeah.
those same backstories as Jesus. So when he told me about this stuff and whatever, I was like, "Oh, you're blasphemous!" And I had that Christian angle in me and whatever. And he was just like, "No, I got something for you. I got something for your ass and whatnot and whatever. You can have that Christianity all you want, but I'm about to show you these videos and these movies and whatnot about the backstories of these things." So
Yeah.
I watched this story, like a video and whatever, and he's watching and he's playing it. And when he's playing it and whatnot, in the beginning, it's talking about Jesus. And then he started talking about the other gods that have the same backstory as Jesus. It's like my brain snapped, and then when my brain started tripping, and I literally went into this Kulunini awakening and whatnot, where all of it's like, so now
Mm.
that I remember and whatnot, I just remember it was like a whole bunch of it's a violent awakening when you have that Kuluni Lord, if I can say it, Kulunini awakening. You can go either two ways. Either you can accept it and your DNA basically absorbs it and you harness it, or either you can go schizophrenic, like these people out here on these streets and whatnot. They have like basically drugs end up starting their DNA and whatnot, where you ever heard a person and they sound weird as hell. They be talking about this gibberish and all this, that, and the third. But if you listen carefully to them, they be spitting some real facts. And it's just
Yeah.
mixed up in a whole bunch of other things and whatnot. And it's because of that type of awakening is strong. It's very strong to the point where if you don't, like I said, harness it correctly in your mind and whatnot, you can go crazy. And I did like have that awakening, and it was very crazy to me at first and whatnot, like as in having certain memories, certain downloads, and having all this information packed into your brain all at one time, and you're trying to recall it all and whatnot. I literally spent like probably a month being on the computer looking up a whole bunch of information that I had like automatically just downloaded from my higher self.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, because as in when you're the second type of indigo, like I said, there's two parts of it. You don't come awakened. You have like this download that you once you reach a certain type of level, you start getting these downloads, this information and whatnot, and your purpose, your journey, your background, all of that and whatnot. And I literally was looking at him, looking at the other people in the house and whatnot, and I was just like started naming out their backgrounds, their who they used to be in past lives. And I remember my friend,
Oh
one of the
wow.
friends was like, "Yo, Michael, what did you do to her?" And I was like, I don't know, because literally when I woke up too, I was laying on the ground. It was like you looked like you had a seizure, and that was me
Oh
downloading all of
wow.
this info. Yes, it was me downloading all of this information. And like I said, for the next month, I was on the computer every morning. I was having dreams, downloads, premonitions, having all this information like, yo, what is numerology? What is spirit God? What is spirit numbers? What is angel guides? Who is this? Who is that person? What am I? And whatnot. Why am I here? That higher self came down, and I had to figure all of that out. And I was really one of those type of like people. If you would have saw me back like at that moment or whatever, I would have seemed like one of those like crackheads on the street, because I would have been like, "Yo, do you know about this? That have you heard about that and whatever? Like, yo, this is
Yeah, you
interesting
want
and
to
whatnot."
tell every and anybody once you uncover certain knowledge, you want to tell everybody.
Yes, when
And
you go
then
down
you
the
have
rabbit
another
hole.
phase where it's like you understand you're part of that small, let's say 5-10% of
Yes,
the world that the other population is just not going to get it.
right. And then that factor of trying to get everybody to understand or
Mm.
understand those types of things and those types of like that type of information and knowledge and whatnot. And then it's just like, oh my God, am I crazy? Am I weird? Is it like, did something happen to me? Like, as in, do I need belong behind some padded walls with my arms hugging myself, like type of stuff and whatever? It's just like you really feel like that and whatnot
Yeah.
until you find other people that is like you and whatnot. Like that's the only way that you can really cope with the understanding of knowing all of this knowledge and whatnot. So like I said, basically, I didn't start off that way, but I did. If you, like I said, if it was somebody of higher learning that looked at me from, like, if I was being able to be raised by monks or something like that, they would have seen it. If looking at my birth
Yeah.
chart, you can see it and whatnot, the numbers and
Yeah.
how even my name correlates. As in, my first and last name is literally 1111 and whatnot. When you do numerology with
Mm.
it, so with that, it's just like it was something that was built over time and whatnot. It wasn't something that was just like that given and whatever. So it's a vast journey and whatnot. Even if that, and I'm still learning and whatnot. As in, I'm really into astrology now and learning the planets and the positions and how that goes and how that affects people at certain times and whatnot. So my upbringing, like I can't say if the plain mundane part of it and whatnot, like my mama, we didn't have to want for nothing. We was high middle class, raised. She gave me everything, anything for my sisters and whatnot. But it was more so what was missing was the knowledge. The materials was,
Yes.
but not the knowledge and whatnot. And I, like I said, basically before I came here to Earth, I chose that path. I chose this game. I put it on hard and whatnot. So to challenge myself to really do these things by ourselves. And then if anybody that knows, if you are as a spirit guide, light worker and whatnot, we do this shit by ourselves. We most of the time we stay
Yes,
by ourselves because we have to stay by ourselves in order to get that knowledge and not be tainted and that going deterred with the things that's happening on in this world that would literally take us
this
off our.
fucking matrix
Mhm, yes, the matrix.
for sure. Listen and listen. Listen, Goddess. I'm so glad you just broke that shit down because for the chosen ones, which is the real spiritual community, the chosen ones that really answer to that Kundalini calling, like you said, that awakening. Um, we are in
Mhm.
heavy isolation, and it's like okay, you may have friends, but those particular friends or family members
They
or
don't
loved
understand.
ones, whatever
They
it
don't never
is,
understand.
yeah, I'm about to say not everybody. I would say my team here, my family, that I'm a part of the podcast with everybody. I would say they get it. Um, I'm in isolation. I'm an introvert. I don't really come out the house unless I really, really need to or want to. But all of that is by choice. But like I said, they get it, but a lot of people wouldn't get it. And they would look at me as being antisocial or acting weird, acting funny. But whole time, like you said, it's really just a divine path that we're on. We cannot be mixed up with what everybody else got going on because we are here for a very specific reason. And like you said, we here to learn so many things very, very quickly. So that means that most of us, most chosen ones, are not rich. We're not famous. You know what I'm saying? We're not, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you had material things, but you know what I'm saying? You was missing the knowledge, and that's great. And my upbringing was not bad at all. We didn't have everything we wanted, but we had enough. And I have no complaints about that. But
Mhm.
my adulthood has been more so where a lot of life lessons came in, a lot of hardship, so to speak. Um, which is another reason of being in isolation because I go through real shit and I have to handle all that shit by myself. So you feel me? Sometimes I don't even have the mental capacity to even be around other people because of uh just different life lessons that
They
I'm
just pick
going
up.
through.
Yeah, it's really hard because, as especially, I don't know, I'm an empath also. So, as in most spiritual workers, we're empaths. So, as in, you already have your energy, and you feel your energy. Any type of energy, you already feel it times 10. See, me, I don't even like
Facts.
people touching me and whatnot. Like, I don't. Like,
Facts.
most people be thinking that I'm bougie or stuck up, and I'm like, no, I don't like a lot of people touching me. Even with people, even if they like touch me in their sweat, like if they have a sweaty hand, they touch me, I will instantly break out and whatnot.
Wow, that's
And it's
crazy.
like I am that sensitive. Yeah, I have twins. So even with my son, he has it too. Like we can't lay on pillows that are dirty or anything or touch like certain things and whatnot. We'll instantly break out and whatnot. So as in with that, like that comes up with our spiritual sensitivity and whatnot. So if you're around
I'm
other people, I'm sorry.
not to cut you off, Goddess, not to cut you off. I'm so sorry, but that might, I don't know, because I have very, very sensitive skin.
Mm-hmm.
Very sensitive skin. But I'm like, I never
Put
I
those two
never knew
or
what the
that thought
cause of
together.
it was.
Yeah.
Like I've tried different, like, I don't know, like different body wash, different lotion, like
Mm-mm. Can't do it.
is I don't know. Yeah, it's like it is what it is. Sometimes it's good, and then sometimes that shit is just not good. And I'm like, I don't know what the cause of it is.
You being an empath and as in having that highest like spirituality is everything. It affects you and whatnot. Like I said, we living in a simulation and whatnot. Whereas
Yeah.
people think on a regular and whatever, like they can not take baths or have like use dial soap and stuff like that and whatever with harsh chemicals and whatever, whereas as soon as I touch it and whatever I break out in some type of hives or rash. My medication, I cannot take medication for crap. Everything that I take and
No,
whatnot, it either gives me some type of like um like secondhand like medical condition or whatever, or like I ended up having like something. It's always something wrong with my mom. Like she always like, there's always something wrong with you. It's like, yo, it's like, cause as in like allergic to dust, sensitivity to the sun, even the sun and
oh
whatnot.
wow.
As in us, we need our melanin and whatnot. And I
Yes,
go out in the sun and I will literally sneeze. It's actual, it's like photogenic or something. It's a actual word and whatnot when it comes to being allergic to the sun and whatnot. Cause I love the sun, but if I go out
that's
when I do go
crazy.
out there in the sun, I will sneeze like for the first like 5 minutes and then I'm fine and
Oh my
whatnot. But
God. What do you need? I need assistance.
I
right,
don't
and
know.
it's
That's
like
yeah, that's crazy.
right, but it's like, you a vampire? I'm like,
That's
yeah, I might
crazy.
really be a vampire. It's like, yeah,
Damn. I don't know. That might be, I don't know, because I know my understanding, like we are sun people.
yeah,
So I know that the sun like burns a lot of toxic things
yes,
off and from inside of our body. That's why we sweat and things of that nature. It's releasing all those toxins that's in inside of us. But I don't know. That might be, I don't know. That's crazy.
do you know you get energy from the moon? Just like how you get
See, let
energy
me
from the sun, you can get energy from the moon too.
see, look, and I got a question for you after this, but I want to. So let's talk about it, right? Because the moon, I be seeing my people. They be like they doing moon rituals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're charging their crystals under the
Mm-hmm.
moon. They're moon gazing and things of that nature, right? And I'm like, okay, that's cool, right? But why I'm not so into the current moon that's in our atmosphere is because so I've had an understanding that that's not our ancient moon. That moon that's in
Basically, it's
our
a fake
sky that
moon.
we look out, huh?
It's a fake moon. It's that was not the original moon that was for Earth. Because I think I understand. Because I think I understand what you're saying. Because I think I've read that before too. Also,
Yeah, I forget what tribe of people it was. But they basically wrote about a time where there was no moon in the sky, and all of a sudden this object appears in the sky one day. You know what I'm saying? Like just to sum it up. But yeah, we do have an ancient moon. In fact, I want to say we have multiple ancient moons,
mm,
just like we have multiple suns. But the moon right now, I believe that is a CGI um a CGI image of another moon
Mm-hmm.
from a whole nother planet.
And I get you
So,
because I feel like that about the sun. Because I was like, this ain't the same sun we used to play out in.
Never lie. You ain't never lie. You ain't.
This ain't the
but
same
look,
sun. Yo, ain't
I'm
nobody
not gonna hold you,
if it
right?
wasn't there
Cause
like the
look,
ozone that bad for that motherfucker, yo, that nigga be 100 every summer. That gonna be 100. Like, yo, that's why my ass be in the house. I don't mind that gonna be in like several shades darker, but no, it burns. It hurts. They gonna, yeah, I be a vampire. Ain't no
so
way.
look, okay, so bad. So
Ain't no
so
way. That's
look.
not the same song we used to play in when we was little. No.
All right, bet. So look, let me break this shit down for you then, Goddess. Cause look, it's all right. So
Break it down for me.
on one hand, on one hand, you are very correct. Um, because I've heard, and you can say it's conspiracy or whatever, because technically speaking, there's no way that you can prove this, right? But we are you aware when China they launched their so-called artificial sun, they had some type of technology. I'm not sure what it was, but they created some type of artificial sun and they had launched it. Is footage of it, you know what I'm saying? You want to hop on TikTok, whatever, is footage of it, right? um so with that being said, uh they've talked about harp, like I think it's HARRP.
Yeah, the heart machine. Yeah,
Harp,
that changes weather.
yeah, like right, where you know what I'm saying. So it's very long story short, it's very much possible, but there is a artificial sunlight, because
Mm-hmm.
we understand that the people that have control over our planet right now cannot take the sun. They are the true vampires. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
So what if they
that is very
can't
much possible.
even survive in it?
But
I'm sitting there. I'm so sorry. It's like,
but nah,
no,
that's a fact
surely now,
though.
if anything, they would turn that motherfucker down. They're gonna be cold out here. They're going the
But
mountains.
look,
That's where
that's
it's at.
listen. That's why, like, this shit get this, goddess. This shit get so deep. Listen, that clouds are artificial. Clouds are not a real thing. Clouds were created to block out the sun. So they try, but that's what I'm saying. So there could be some artificial lighting going on. You know what I'm saying, from the sun, but we do have multiple suns in our atmosphere, and our second sun is coming back closer to our atmosphere, which is what science like to call Planet X or Nibiru.
Nubaru. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so, which is a planet, a sun, and a spacecraft all in one. Um, so yeah, that is coming closer to our atmosphere. So that's why it's getting so hot. And then, like you said, how that Kundalini energy rising, the Kundalini energy, we are chaos beings. We come from dark matter energy, and we come from heat. Like the Kundalini energy, as it's rising and is creating this big mass awakening on our planet right now. That's why it's getting hotter, along with our second sun coming back into the atmosphere too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna keep getting hotter.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna keep getting hotter, and we gonna have to raise our frequency to a certain point so that we can survive that shit. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's a, you know, like you said, it's levels to this shit. So we have to match the energy of our planet. She's raising her consciousness as well. You feel me? She's rising in frequency as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to match that energy, and which is why you see so many people, is so many people dropping like flies right now.
No, just
Death
like
is not
flying
real,
out here. Yep.
but they're losing their physical avatar because if you're not on your journey, if you're not, learning who you are, and like you said, how we choose to go through certain things in life, a lot of people don't believe that. But everything that we go through is set in stone. So if we're not on a certain path of our purpose, then it's like, what are you here for? And it's a lot of people just out here. So, you know,
Yep. I call
but
them
yeah,
the NPCs of the Matrix. They're here to uphold the Matrix and whatnot, and to keep the lost ones lost, and to keep basically the chosen ones confused. Yeah.
yeah. And oh, listen. So my question to you, right? So, and it's really self-explanatory with you saying that you're a medium and that you're very sensitive to energy. So you know your thoughts versus someone else's energy. So it's
Mm.
self-explanatory. But like I said, Manifesto here at the Hood Academy, we love dropping gems and helping the people however we can. So how can you distinguish um divine intuition or divine guidance versus the matrix sending its low vibration and its light code lockdown energy, and using other agents and other frequencies and entities that if you're not on that vibration you can't see and you're not aware. You know what I'm saying? So how basically how can you distinguish from your higher self versus the matrix trying to influence you to be another product of the system?
Oh, I love this question. I would say more so simply when you're by yourself. When you're by yourself, and you're basically, because I know with me, when I'm surrounded by a bunch of people and they're doing whatever, God knows what, they're partying, they're drinking, and they're having fun, and they're living basically their matrix lives. Um,
Right.
that's when I get the most like anxiety, the most like the types of lower like vibrational like ideas and stuff like that.
Mm.
Especially when you're drinking and whatnot, like when you're drinking,
Right.
not just you drinking what they call it, spirits, when you're not supposed to be drinking, if anything and whatnot. I'm not trying to bash anybody that drinks whatever and all this that but third, but if you are drinking so much to hide, to mask, to cover over things that you are going through in life and whatnot, to make you this temporary like sanctuary for yourself and your mind and whatnot, it brings spirits, and it brings those type of
Mm.
lower entities into your mind to think that you can do certain things, or if like basically putting a veil over your face and whatnot of the real things that's going on and whatnot. Because when you drink and like drink liquor, drink spirits, it invites those type of entities in your body to control you. And I've been through that before and whatnot. My dad was a heavy drinker, and
Can I add to that real quick, Goddess? And
right,
my
go
bad,
right
not to cut you off. But look, alcohol is is it derives from a Arabic word called al-kul.
mm-hmm.
And in Arabic, al-kul is a flesh-eating spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So anciently they knew all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We were way more spiritually advanced and technologically advanced
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. So, which is how the pyramids were built, and they cannot. Technology is way more advanced, so people think, and they cannot rebuild the pyramids with the technology that they have right now today.
Mm-hmm. That's why
So,
I just literally told my twins that and whatnot. Everything, like everything is, there's nothing new up under the sun and whatnot. But as
yeah,
in what's going on with, as in the beings that want us Earth to get to the higher dimensions, to basically like to renew us and whatnot. They already every like time is linear and whatnot. Everything is happening at every time. The past is happening, the future is happening, the present is happening, all of that is happening all at one time and whatnot. People
yes,
think like it's a time period for each one. No, all of them, all of their these time periods are basically happening now and whatnot. So
yeah,
they wanted to come back to the past, the future now, to basically save us from those things that they fumbled in the basically the far future. They already knew, like you said, about all this technology and stuff like that. We're basically reliving that. Them people
yes,
have came back, the beings, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the higher beings are
yes,
already coming back and telling us about these things. And what it's like basically the movie Terminator and whatnot. So they coming back and basically trying to help us fix all of this so we won't go into those faults of like Earth that when being a part of the darkness and letting the darker beings basically take over are the higher beings that's here, because they don't want us to evolve. They want us to keep evolving
fact,
here on Earth and whatnot, keep going through reincarnation when we supposed to be
yeah,
incarnating from here and whatnot. So
fact,
back to your question and whatnot, I realize as in when you're by yourself, when you have gotten away from everybody and literally separated yourself from people that are doing things that are detrimental basically to their health, their life and whatnot, or in these hamster wheels, what I would say,
hmm,
the people that keep doing the same things over and over and over again. You leave your hometown, like you finally get like this notion of like, I don't want to be here and do the same things over and over again. You leave and whatnot, and you come back and visit, and these same people are doing the exact same fucking things over and the same stuff. They're still on the same block.
yes,
They're still at the same job. They're still like they're still drinking. They're still doing whatever things that are not motivating them to go to a higher stature in life and whatnot. That's what I call a hamster wheel. And you never want to be a part of that and whatever, where you just keep repeating the same things over and over again. So when you're by yourself and whatnot and gotten yourself away from people that are literally just doing the same things in life, that going in order to survive, basically they're not living, they're surviving. These is when
yes,
you get your higher downloads. This is when you start seeing synchronizations. You start seeing, like you said earlier, you start seeing things on TV and whatnot. There are messages that are meant for you. You start listening to the radio, and certain songs come up and they speak about the situation that you going through. Literally with me, like as in I'm in one of those separations right now, away from everybody, and literally like if I look at my phone time and how much the number is on my, like how much my phone is charged, they will match up. Literally if I'm reading something and the radio will all of a sudden say the same word that I'm reading right at that moment, that synchronization,
wow,
that is basically the higher up speaking to you and like, hey, you are on the right path at this time. You are
yes,
basically on that journey. You are off that one. You're on that path that you, because there's, I call it the off beaten path and whatnot. These side journeys, like when you're playing a game and whatever, and you got like a little side journey where you can go off and collect some extra coins or something like that and whatnot, and you
I
get
have a
back
lot
onto
of
the
those.
path. I know, like
Yeah,
you playing Mario or whatever, and you just like, or like whatever journey that you're on with the game and whatnot, and you go on these side paths and whatnot, and you just like, okay, let me catch me some extra like learning lessons and coins and whatever, and then, but it's really like life lessons or something that you needed to learn so you won't repeat it again, and then you get right back on the main path of the game and you like, okay, well, I got me an extra life, or I got me some more knowledge right now and whatnot, so I can
Right.
continue about my main journey and whatnot. So I believe, like, as in, even if sometimes, like, if you, the more that you build that up and whatnot, you can be around people that are on different levels than you, different like paths than you and whatnot. But it's only when you build that strength up within your own thyself and whatnot is when you can know and distinguish, like, hey, because there used to be times where I wanted to go to the club with like friends and stuff like that. Because I say sometimes some like psychedelic drugs, shrooms, weed, and
Yeah.
whatnot can ignite sometimes those types of divine like uh like signals, signs, and whatnot. And
Yeah.
like, there's been several times where I'll be like, hey, like everybody's like, oh, I want to go to the club and whatever. And I'll be like, okay, getting ready, getting dressed, and all of a sudden a moment will just pause, like Raven when she had her like visions and shit like that and whatever, and see things that would literally happen to me, and I would see something going on and whatever, and it'd be like, nope, we don't need to go. And everybody be like, why? I'm
Mm.
like, because I just feel this badass feeling. If we go, something is not going to be right. And then 9 times out of 10, that next morning we'll hear somebody got shot up at the club. There was a big fight at that
Yep.
club and whatnot. And people was like, oh my God, we was going to go and stuff. If it wasn't for you. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And so it's more so like, the more that you stay more to yourself and whatnot, in like I said, you don't have to be always completely totally by yourself, but it all depends on the energy of the people that is around you. Like I said, if they're outside partying and doing dumb stuff, getting locked up and all this and that the third, you cannot expect they're going to God to be able to be like, oh, they're going to listen to me, unless I said that you
Right.
have that strength of already knowing thyself and whatnot, and then being, and then even if that, your soul can't tolerate being around that type of energy for long, you're going to get drained.
Fact.
You're going to get drained and whatnot. When you feel drained around certain people and stuff like that, where you like, you can go and you just felt fine, and then you get around these people, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, I'm tired, I want to go home, it's only 10 o'clock and whatever. Get yourself away from those people, because they're draining
Yes.
your energy. There's such thing as energy vampires, and when there's monitoring spirits and whatnot, they literally just want to be around you to know what you're doing and whatnot, so they can tell the energy of the darker elite what you're doing and
Yeah.
whatnot. Because a lot of people don't know, like, there's a spiritual war going on and whatnot, and they know who we are. They know who we are. They see
Yeah.
who we are, so they can destroy us on the daily. They send that on evil energy. They send spell work. They send dark energies and whatnot to keep you down and to kill you. They want to off you.
Yeah.
So you do not. They're gonna help the mission of Earth going to a higher dimension of, they're gonna get into the fifth dimension, the new Earth. They don't want it to win, but
Okay.
it's too late. We're gonna win anyway. We know that story. But still, if they can still kill off and do the things that they want to do, they're going to do it because they're programmed to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, that's what they're here to do.
Hmm.
And a lot of our brothers and sisters that are, so-called angels, or, if people want to refer to them, but I refer to us as gods and goddesses. Um, but a lot of people believe whatever they want to believe. So
Hmm.
I dumb it down and say kings and queens,
Yeah, boo.
because like, because people, when you call, like, if I call a woman a goddess, like, I mean, like you said, it's coming more of a normal thing now. But some people who are so caught up in certain belief systems, they will totally be offended,
Oh yeah, I know.
like
It's called, like, I was
completely
listening to
offended.
this lady. She was just like, I was like, I prefer myself as a goddess. She was like, that is blasphemous. Why would you say that?
Right.
I was like, if God, the Almighty Creator, created us in His image, then what are we then? She was like,
That's a
oh,
fact.
if you put it that way, yeah. If y'all put it
But
that
see, that's what I'm saying. Like we've gotten so we let our enemies tell us who God
way.
was, and that's where we fucked up at. And it's really nothing we could have done about it because it is what it is. It happened the way that it happened. They invaded our planet and eventually took over shit. That's a whole story with that.
Let's say that's gonna be a whole nother.
But yeah, that's like yeah, we have to get you back on and another time and go through stuff like that because that's a whole story. But yeah, like and then people wonder why I'm so against like interracial relationships. People don't understand that us laying down with the other side is what got us to where we are now.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that because the Bible is not going to tell you that in that fashion. You feel me? And that's where a lot of people go to get all their information from, not even understanding. It's so much outside of that book that you need to know and be aware of. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But but that was a great answer though. Like you basically so to sum it up, basically you're saying you have to be aware of self. You have to be in tune with self and you have to know, okay, well, this is how I feel. This is what I feel like I need to do. This is how I feel like I need to be moving
Hmm.
versus other energy that's, irrelevant or just not serving you a purpose in any type of way. And you
Right.
still wanting to do it. You still wanting to entertain it, even though it's like, it's doing nothing to help you evolve as your higher self. I don't think a lot of people, that's not a lot of people first mind.
No, it isn't.
Um,
They just go along with whatever that's going on at the moment and whatnot. And those certain things,
yeah,
I guess because I've been speaking when me being awakened now and whatnot. And also, well, always having that gift of that spider sense and whatnot. Literally having like as in just like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. Even when I didn't know what it was growing up and whatnot, I understand it now and whatnot. So
yeah,
as in I suggest with people whenever that you feeling something, because even with like now, I can feel being a medium and being an empath, I can feel other people's energies. They can be miles away from me and whatnot, and I will feel whatever that they have going on, or feel like I'll be like, I just start thinking about somebody and they'll literally ring me or text me and whatnot. And I can
mm,
feel basically their energy honing on to mine and willing to communicate with me and whatnot. So we got to understand or ask yourself. That's an exercise that you can. When you feel certain like feelings and whatnot, say there's sadness in my energy and I want to know where it's coming from. So when you ask that, instead of saying that, instead of owning that energy, because we'll sit there and be like, I'm sad. And it may not be your sadness. We need to stop doing that and
bad,
whatnot. Because if you all of a sudden, especially if you got to listen, like if you listen to some sad music and whatnot, and then you like feeling it and whatever, of course, that's your energy. But if you're just sitting
right?
there chilling and whatnot, and you just feel a sadness come upon you, ask, where did that energy come from? That's exercise to anybody that's listening. Be like, hey, there's sadness in my energy. Where is this energy coming from? And if you continue to feel that sadness, then that's actually you. But
Mm,
if you feel all of a sudden like you feel it dissipate from you and you start to feel normal, then that wasn't your energy. That was somebody else's energy trying to infiltrate yours and whatnot. And so,
mm,
as in, you got to like, people have to really start asking themselves and really sitting down in quiet, because a lot of people They don't like, they'll sit there and like, and maybe sitting in quietness, but it's after the fact of something happening to them and whatnot, like after a
That
breakup or after an argument.
right.
That's the only time where they actually sit there and come to thyself, when you need to come to thyself every night and pick
Mm,
through what happened throughout the day and whatnot, and really jot down and really put that in your information bank. So when you put that in your information bank and you feel it, the next time that you do go through that situation, you be like, hey, I remember this feeling. I remember this situation. And what do I need to do to fulfill it, to answer it, to whatever that needs to be done at the moment in order for you to be satisfied. So,
that's a fact. That's a fact. So look, let
Can I
me.
can I ask a question? I know I'm in the background. I know I'm in the background. What's up, everybody? It's your lovely game. Mwah. Quick question. I got a question for both of y'all actually. Because I've been sitting here, I've been listening, I learned a lot of new things. I'm not even gonna hold you. I learned a lot of new things, but I do have a question for the both of y'all, and feel how you answer it. Answer it the most honest way that you can. Um,
Always.
of course. My question is, and I'm gonna leave it to y'all to answer. Uh, my question is, when it comes to learning about yourself, how much patience should you give somebody on their own spiritual journey? Now, before y'all say, give them a lot of patience, it's a lot of things because we are human. We do mess up. Like we said, we're imperfect, and that's what makes us us. So my question is, when somebody's on their spiritual journey, how do you gauge exactly? How do you gauge exactly where you can step in? Like and because there's like I heard you say there's people that are lost. I heard you guys speak on things of that nature. But how do you determine who to leave lost? You know what I mean? And who to who to jump in and intervene with. And if it is a divine, if it is a divine energy, how do you determine that that is the divine energy to listen to? So it because if
Mm,
we're supposed to if we're what I'm saying is, like, if we're supposed to save X, Y, and Z, but A, B, and C has great ideas, or they have great aura, or you know what I mean. You can see the potential in A, B, C, but you're being told to save X, Y, and Z. How do you differentiate the two to say, I have to do this, but I want to do this because this might propel us forward? Am I making any sense?
so you're
no,
saying
I
that
get
if
you.
a
I
person
get
has
you.
potential, but they're going through certain things in life and whatnot, and you want to help them excel to a better level, so when do you intervene or do you leave it alone, type of thing?
And if you do leave it alone, why do you leave it alone? And if you intervene, why do you intervene?
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
I got you.
Well,
Whew,
feminine energy first,
perfect
goddess.
question right there. I love this question. So, you want to answer first or me?
Nah, feminine energy first.
Okay. So, because because the why I'm laughing is because I'm literally going through that learning lesson now and whatnot. That's why it's so
Really.
funny to me and whatnot. And it's not because it's a funny matter, but it hits close to home and whatnot. And
Right.
it's like that type of situation is basically no, like, first of all, knowing thyself, period, and whatnot. And I go through this all the time. It doesn't matter with males or females and whatnot, because I'm that type of person that I look at potential all the time. I look at people's potential and just be like, I meet gifted people every day, all the time and whatnot. Not so much all like every day, but it's people that have been brought upon my journey that I've crossed and
Facts.
whatnot. And I can say I have met some brilliant people, some wonderful people, if they would just put their nose more to the grindstone and stop looking at letting carnal energy of the world destroy them into into basically belittling themselves, they can excel and be great people and whatnot. And it's the earth, carnal energies, witchcraft, spell work, all types of shit and
Break
whatever.
it
And you have
down.
to know basically what you're dealing with and whatnot. Because
Yeah.
as in today's world and whatnot, there's a lot of people that are these kitchen witches and whatnot. What I would like to say, they are learning spirituality and they're learning spell work, and they don't know how to control their inner being, and they think they can just throw their energy or their spell work or anybody and whatever, whoever they fucking cross and whatnot. So if anything, you got to learn when you're dealing with people with potential and you see that they're at a crossroads, basically, either they can go down the path of greatness or either they can go down the path of destruction of how they basically are on and whatnot. So one thing you got to decipher what type of things that they're going through. Is it an entity? Is it carnal energy? Is it spell work? And whatnot. Because if it's something
Karma.
like spell work and whatnot, if you're dibble dabbling in spell work and whatnot, you can give them. It depends on the person and how deep the spell work has gotten. Because that's when I guess what he was saying, like as in when you got to stop and just let basically the universe do its thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it all depends, and there's laws when it comes to like spell work and stuff like that and whatever, especially depending on the ranking of what you have and whatnot. Because as in with me, I'm not no grand wizard when it comes to that, but I know people that can do certain things and I can direct you to certain people. It all depends on like, because there's spell work that can be done on people, and they would literally, the spell work that's put on them, the more that you speak about it, the more angrier they'll get. They will literally be like,
mm,
they will deny you. They will fight you and whatnot because of the
mm.
spell work put on them. That's why it was put on them in a certain type of way. If anybody speaks about the person that put spell work on them and whatnot, they will fight you. They're gonna defend the
Wow.
person that put spell work on them and whatnot, because it's made to work that way in order to be able to defend, and they're going to consume that person. And that's when either
Facts.
you can go to somebody of a higher spiritual work to take that off of them, or either you can just leave them alone and let the universe, and they're going to let the spell work do what it does and whatnot, and hopefully they can fight it and work it off and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, as in when it comes to like something that is carnal, like sexuality, drugs, um family can even be something that is detrimental to people. Because as in, that's why I was sitting there telling me these npcs, like people chosen ones
Mm.
can be born into these, like these families of npcs, of people that are npcs are basically people that are part of the matrix. They're not here to help you and whatnot. They're part of the matrix to keep the matrix going. These people don't
Yeah.
have no higher learning. They don't concern themselves in higher learning. Their only concern is to basically keep the matrix going, as in doing the mundane things that basically people do, work shit, work, um do drugs, whatever, they're going just lower energy type of stuff and whatnot. And no higher learning, no nothing or whatever, like religion, all of that mundane stuff and whatnot. That's what they're meant to do, to keep you underfoot and whatnot for these lost ones. So as in, depending on what your rank is, but being an empath or a spiritual divine worker and whatnot, you can break these people, these lost ones, out of it. You can and
Hmm.
whatnot. If you show them better, you really got to have your backing and whatnot, and you really got to know your shit and whatnot to help these people out of it. But the thing is, people be like, don't really understand the word would help. Some people would be thinking like, as in, well, if I help you and whatnot, and then if I don't get nothing back out of it, no, you cannot expect nothing out of it. That's not the point. That's not how you do things and whatnot. When you truly help somebody and whatnot, when you really truly help these people and whatnot, these lost ones, you got to that gonna put your heart, soul, blood into it and whatnot. When it really comes to helping
That's a
somebody
fact.
out of these types of things, out of these type of trenches, and not especially that gonna lower minded thinking and whatnot. And you got to have your information. You got to have everything implanted in you that going to really help these people when it comes to really like basically turning on their DNA to like for them to highly think for themselves. Because like I said, a person is born in these NPCs type of families and whatnot, they think that on the type of stuff, the lower energy type of stuff, they think that's life. They literally do. If their family just works and whatnot, goes to work, and they're going comes home, drinks, they're going and doesn't do anything, they're going anything that promotes any type of like higher learning or going out or traveling and whatnot. There's some people, families that never been out of the city, never even gone out the project that they were born in. They lived
Facts.
generations and generations and generations in the same house, literally. And people would literally think this is what my life is supposed to be and whatnot. So you got to that gonna have patience and whatnot to go through these types of like trials and tribulations with these people to really help them and whatnot. Now, if you go through and help these people and you can see a glimmer of light of them wanting to change, then keep at it. Keep at it. But if they keep that on logging off and whatnot, you teach them and then they keep logging back into their lower selves and whatnot, then that's when you got to give them back to the universe, because that's
Yeah.
going to lower your energy. That's going to tire you out. That's going to basically bring yourself down, and you don't want to bring yourself down, and especially if you don't work your way yourself up and whatnot. So as long as you see some type of progress out of people and whatnot, and they want to study, like you got to see the physical evidence of them wanting to do things and whatnot. If a person they stayed in the house all that like long time and whatnot of this one place and whatever, and then they mention like, hey, well, it would be nice if I could move somewhere else and whatnot so I can do something different. Then you got them.
Hmm.
You got them.
Right.
Got their brain tinkering. They're coming out of that
Right.
matrix thinking and whatnot. As long as you start seeing
Yep.
that mustard seed of difference within them and whatnot, even with spell work and whatnot, and you bring something up, you got to be truthful with these people. And they're like, hey, I started studying that on something of what you said, and what you said was very true and whatnot, and that's crazy and whatever. Work with them, keep going at it and whatnot. Because like I said, time is linear. We may sit there and think like, dang on 3 months, dang on 6 months, a year, or whatever, dang on, it doesn't matter. As long as you start seeing that and they start working on themselves and whatnot. But if you get pushed back, or they hiding from you and start saying things like, well, my homeboy, the one, or my homegirl, or my mom said this and whatever, and said that you're bringing false information, or you're bringing that's witchcraft, or what you're bringing up, or whatever that you're saying I need
Yeah.
to watch it out for, then let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
They're going to be lost and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, maybe sometime in the future, but the baby, let it go. You just trust and believe the universe will bring you I guess another like seed, or bring you another traveler,
Yeah.
somebody within the same type of, because you can meet another person and they have that same type of programming, but their programming may be a little thinner of what's going on with the other person that you trying to change and whatnot. So you're going to keep going through the same learning lessons until you break through. Even if you're basically a teacher and whatnot, we still going through learning lessons regardless and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And so as with that, it really, you got to see that glimmer, that mustard seed of somebody changing and whatnot, when it really comes to when you really want to help a person that has that type of energy of the change, or that potential in them.
So one more quick question, because you answered that very thoroughly, and I appreciate that completely. So, once again, I got a question for the both of you guys. Um, for you, Miss Purp the Goddess, by the way, you've been a magnificent guest. Round of applause.
Yes, for sure. Drop them gems.
Oh,
And so, my question to you guys, to both of you guys again, is okay. When dealing with the opposite sex, you know, we are primal people. You know, you can't hide, what you feel. So when dealing with the opposite sex, I'm asking, TPG, for you, I want you to answer, when dealing with a woman. For you, Perp, I want you to answer, when dealing with a guy, or I don't know about your sexual orientation, so I'm not trying to be offensive. Swear to God, I'm not. you know,
I
but
said answer with both, honey.
what I mean. If you want to share about both, share about both. I believe in each one teach one. So what I'm asking is, how can you guys discern exactly what you're looking for in a partner? If you're so tuned into the universe, how can you tune yourself to deal with one person, or to to and because I know TPG stance on this. I
Shake
know
his
his
head.
stance on
He was
this,
like,
but
"Oh shit."
I know his, yeah, he know I'm setting him up. I know his
I'm gonna
stance on
go
this.
first.
I know his stance on this, but I want you to hear it, and I want you to give, I want you to give your understanding about what I'm asking. So, TPG, I'm gonna let you take it away. Go ahead and handle your biz. I'm gonna jump back. I'll be back for another Dean question. I promise.
I bet. So listen. And why I was shaking my head, God, is because listen, he already know. Listen, I without saying what I'm about to say, without saying too much, I go a lot of my life lessons be through women.
Niggas eat shit.
Like like yeah, there's no other way to put that. Like a lot of my life lessons have been through past dealings with women. And um so to answer his question, right? um what I found out to be a fact, like there is no way around it. You can look over shit, you can accept people for who they are, you can love them for who they are, but what I've come to find as a fact, if you live your life a certain way, like me and you, we on this spiritual stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? We are in tune with our higher selves, and we're in tune with the universe. We're in tune with source. Like me, um, and you can't really just box the Most High into one thing, because she is everything. I address God as a she, because feminine energy came before masculine energy. Um, so which is why even on a third dimensional level, that we have never seen life being made from a man's rib, like how the Bible try to teach. But we have seen all women and all life come from the womb of a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a representation that feminine energy came first, and that men, we are nothing more but a representation of the feminine energy. Like the penis is nothing more but an enlarged clitoris. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And that all like it's a fact. Like, and this, you feel me? As a man, me learning this is crazy, but that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And before we even develop, it takes 7 weeks for the fetus to develop male attributes. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, all energy is feminine energy until it's something else. You know what I'm saying? Which again, we're
Chromosome.
we're the representation of feminine energy. But listen, all that, like I said, we got to drop as many gems as we can. But I don't know how much time you got. But either way, long story short, right? We have to, if you're going to deal with somebody, you have to deal with somebody that's on the same vibration, the same frequency that you are on. You cannot, okay, and me putting my real life into this, I cannot be spiritual and date someone that still believes in Jesus. I've been through it, and it is not going to work. It's not going to never work. Or uh even if they don't have a religious preference, or they don't really believe in anything, if they don't have some type of sense of a higher power, that's not going to work either, because now you're spiritually, I'm not going to say you're spiritually dead, but I would rather you believe in Jesus and have some type of spiritual aspect than you not believe in anything.
At least believe
You
in
know what I'm
me.
saying? You feel me? Like something, believe in something. If you don't believe in anything, then
You'll
that's
fall
that's
for
a big red flag.
and you'll fall for anything.
So exactly, you know what I'm saying? So, just long story short, you have to deal with somebody that is where y'all eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? You want to elevate your soul, they want to elevate their soul. You want to learn more knowledge, they want to learn more. You like meditating, they like meditating. Like, or at least be willing to learn. If they're not willing to learn, then it's not going to work. So yeah, if like, and even okay, even with religion, if you believe in Jesus, then you should be dating someone that is just as much into church as you are. So that's the only way it's gonna work. That's why a lot of relationships are not working, because we're not in alignment with each other. Like, are y'all are y'all two zodiac signs even compatible to be with each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a lot of people. Well, I guess we getting more into that now, but like, are y'all even compatible? Are y'all even in alignment with each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a lot of people look at things like that. So yeah, just long story short, you have to date someone that's in alignment with where you see yourself now and in the future. And if they don't align with that, it don't matter how long you try to hold on to it. It don't matter how much you love them. It's not going to work.
Agreed, definitely. You basically answered it for me and whatnot. Regardless of sex, or it just boils down to the same pot and whatnot when it comes to spirituality. And like people say opposites attract and whatever. I don't believe in that shit, because if you're a
No.
person, unless y'all mature enough to understand each other and to cope with whatever they have going on and whatnot. Because if I'm a person that loves loud music and you're a person that loves soft music and whatnot, and I love to play my loud music at night and whatever, and you're gonna be completely annoyed with me. You are,
Right.
until we work out some type of, I hate this word. It's like I hate the English language anyway. Um
Facts.
Compromise. Unless we compromise, because for the longest people corrected me. I was like, compromise. It was like, that's not a I was like, what do you mean that's not a word? It's compromise. It means that we come to a relation, they're going to agree with each other. It was like compromise. I was like, man, fuck that word. But
You motherfucker. Motherfucker.
I was like, yo, if we gotta come to the compromise, I want to say compromise so bad. If we got to compromise with that and whatnot and be mature and whatever, it may work, but how long is it going to really work? So I believe like people and whatnot. And really
Yeah.
it really comes down to it, because I had a friendship for a long time, and we battled with each other for years and whatnot. Because as in with me, my growth of like when I evolved and grew and whatnot, mine was way faster than his. So at the time and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, I literally watched this man be a crip, then went to the military, become a pastor, a Christian pastor, and then now he is a full Black Panther to this day. Shout out to him and
Oh
whatnot.
wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, so he literally went through levels of learning. And when he was at that like that point of being a Christian pastor and learning and going to school about it and whatnot, we butted heads so bad. We butted heads so fucking
Yeah.
bad and whatnot. And it was like I can't sit there and like that's one thing I do want to learn the Bible in order to be able to spit back the knowledge that I know. That's the only reason why I really want to learn the Bible. So I'd be like, yeah, I know what scripture you talking about, but daggone this is how it really is and stuff like that and whatever.
Facts.
Not just to learn
Facts.
just because of like, oh, it's the Bible. But it's the factor of because as in with him, he's deadly, he's lethal because he knows the Bible, he studied it and whatnot, and he knows the new knowledge that he has downloaded of the truth and whatnot. So anybody that comes at him with that Christian like scriptures and all this, not the third and whatnot, he can quote those back to them and actually give them the real knowledge of how it really is and whatnot. But at that time and whatnot, me and him, I swear for God, we literally stopped talking for years and whatnot. And then when I found him, he was he was a Black Panther, and I was just like, oh my God, like yo, what have you learned? And catching up, that I swear that conversation lasted for hours and whatnot. And he
Yeah.
just totally apologized to me. He was like, yo, you was totally right about a lot of things and whatnot. I was very lost when it came to the knowledge of what I was learning, and I didn't get you, and I apologize for being nasty to you because I didn't get you because you was on a higher level than me at the time and whatnot. And of course I forgave him and whatnot. And I check up on him like every such and such like time where I feel like the energy needs to be like mixed shaking. I know he's doing okay. That's one thing about me and
Right.
whatnot. I'm one of them type of people. I don't have to be up your butt every fucking day and whatnot.
Right.
If I know the journey that you're on and whatnot, I know you're gonna be okay. I know you're gonna be taken care of by the Most High, the Creator of all things.
Exactly.
And I know that like I hate when females get like this all the time and whatever. Like they got to talk to each other every freaking day. What are you doing? Be on the phone and don't be talking about shit and whatever. And then
Man.
mad at you, be like, bitch, you ain't called me today. Oh my God. Bitch, did you get shot at or something? Like, yo, no, but you didn't call me today. I missed you. I missed you too, bitch. I missed you too. But
You feel me?
it's just
It be like that, but yeah, like
yeah,
we, I
so
don't know.
yeah, but it's the factor of like the like attracts like and whatnot, and you people got to understand that type of like if you're on those type of journeys and you're on that type of like don't take offense to it, please. I hate when people take offense
Mm-mm.
to it and whatever because like people apologize, I didn't speak to you today. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Literally my whole life I've literally been a lone wolf and whatnot. I was that child
Facts.
that you could leave by themselves and to play and all this that the third and whatever. If it's quiet, I was that type of child. I was backwards. If I was quiet, I was fine. I won't doing shit. Now if there's noise,
Facts.
I'm into something or whatever. There's something wrong. There's something fucking wrong and whatever. You know how children nowadays, but oh shit, they done got quiet. Let me fucking check on this motherfucker. But no, I was that
Right.
one. If I was
Right.
quiet the whole time, I'm not doing nothing. So with that and whatever, it's just like I understand. Like I'm not one of those types of people that grew up of having to be like around a whole bunch of cousins and friends and all that and the third and whatever. So I'm very awkward when it comes to that type of energy and being around a whole bunch of folks because even with like when I dated this like this guy, his mom was always adamant on good morning. And I was just like, really? I was
Mm.
just like, hi, I just saw you last night. And his mom was like, she just has this attitude. Like she doesn't want to say good morning to me or hi or whatever. I'm like, I won't brought up that way, lady. I won't. I'm sorry. And I was like, my family, like, we literally saw each other last night. Why I got to say good morning to you for? And whatever. But okay, and whatever. So, or even if that, like the English language, they're going, no, there's nothing good about morning. So, as in with that, it was just,
Exactly. I was about to say no. Just tell me hey, or you know what I'm saying? Because
lovely
if it's
rising
not
and
Grand
beautiful day. That's
Rising,
what I
yeah,
say.
like a lot of, oh man, that clearly that irritates a certain type of people. The grand rising, the rich
Yes, it
rising,
does.
like any type of rising
Oh, it
irritates
knows.
certain people. Like, and I'm just
Are you one
like
of those
damn,
type of
like
people?
right, like damn, like you that botted out, like that irritates you, like that's a problem. Like that's a very big problem. But hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But no, I 1000% like yeah. That's I don't know. You just gotta be in alignment. But I feel like me as though, and I don't wanna. We have to attract what we want. So the goddess that I need in my life, they gonna find me, they gonna come to me in some type of way. We gonna meet, we gonna align, we gonna connect.
Yep,
Um,
that's
and that's just
gonna
what
do.
it's gonna be. You can't look for what you want. You have to become it. You know what I'm saying? You have to attract that shit. So yeah, that just but at the same time though, when you carry a certain light, there's gonna be all types of people that's attracted to it.
Yep,
So
gonna be a whole bunch of mobs. Yep, all the time.
yeah, you
Because
gotta,
I know people are probably like, "Why is her light?" I'm like, yes, I affect light too. I'm sorry, I
that's
affect light
crazy
too.
though.
Probably
I
like, "Dude,
mean,
why her light keep flicking?" I affect light.
I
Okay.
wasn't gonna say anything. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, if she
I
busts
thought
out,
you was doing that.
I was like, bro, if
I
she
thought
busts
she was
out into like
doing
an
it.
epileptic episode, we're gonna have to cut this one short because I was kind of worried. I don't know if you were shooting people or what,
Yo.
but yeah, we're gonna let you have it.
I affect light. My energy, I affect light,
We see.
batteries. Like if I wear a watch, it would like the batteries in it, like it will last me probably about a week and whatnot. My energy, like I don't know what it is. My energy is like very much like very high and whatnot. Like as in I go to like it's done happened plenty of times where I be around light and light starts flickering if I'm close to it, or either if I
Yeah.
start talking like in a higher energy with people and whatnot on the phone, my phone will start frying, or you like hear a whole bunch of static and stuff like that and whatnot. It happens all the time.
Okay,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm glad we talking about energy, and this is my last question. This is my last question. You've been a great guest, and I promise you, you have been a great guest. First of all, TPG, you're doing an amazing job. This is my last question, and
Appreciate you,
I'll let
brother.
y'all wrap it up. No problem. My last question is because we are all adults up here. So when it comes to sexual energy, how do you define if
No
it's
Libra.
divine? If it's not like, how do you define if it's divine sexual energy, or how do you define if it's once again, if it's the matrix trying to push you to use your body to use your body against you? You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like there is a lot of
Mm,
people. There's a lot of people out here who have beautiful auras and stuff like that, but they're hooked to this Gromolkin looking thing as far as spirit wise. So and they might not be linked through anything else but like sexual energy. So you know my question is on that type of realm. Like, how do you define who gets to make it past the gates? You know what I mean? Like you feeling this person? Is that like who gets? Because once again, we're grown, but these are deep thought. I mean, these are deep things
Mhm.
to think about.
nah, that's a good question. That's a
It
great
is. It
question.
really is a good question.
Cause shit, listen. Okay, listen. Let me tell you this. But honest, okay, is it? I can't speak from a goddess, aka a woman's perspective, right? Because it may be a little different for men. Because listen, and I've said this on the podcast many and many times. Men are gods, masculine energy. We are not um like polygamy. That is a ancient practice. That is a natural way of how we anciently lived, because we were all in sync with each other. There was no jealous spirits. There was no
Mhm.
like no, none of that. You know what I'm saying? It was no reason for that because we were all on a higher frequency and all in tune with each other. We praised each other. We loved on one another, everybody. So you feel me? That's where, you know what I'm saying? That's again, if you know how to be disciplined, then you can hold on to that urge. But that's why it's so much of a urge for men to want to deal with multiple women because we are here to plant seed and create life. You feel me? But just to answer Tay question, basically, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. There are no restrictions to life. Okay, you are a god. You are a multidimensional being that is here to experience. Okay. The Most High is living within all of us and wants to experience, which is why she multiplied and created all these different life forms, animating all these different items. Everything is alive. The plants, the trees, the sun, planets, everything is alive and conscious and is a part of source and all that, right? So you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Yes, lower dimensions do exist. So people that sell their soul and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Or, make certain deals with certain entities, or you out here hurting children and just living a life of low vibration, then you can go to those lower dimensions. You will go to those lower dimensions. You know what I'm saying? But hell in the way that a lot of people have been taught is not necessarily a real place.
It's a thing.
Um, and we are in a form of hell right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we are everything is so low frequency right now. But either way, though, I'm saying that to say you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You're not gonna go to hell. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go out here and sleep with people, whatever, that you're not gonna go to hell. But I would say that you need to be careful who you lay down with because energy does transfer. So if someone is feeling depressed, if someone is moody, going through whatever type of low vibrational feelings, then that can transfer to you when having sex with this person. And not only that, but certain energies, certain entities can be attached to certain people. And when you lay down with them, that can also be transferred to you. So that would be a main reason why I would say you should be very much careful. Like somebody that's very lustful and just throw their body anywhere, everywhere. Not only them just being nasty, like it's more of an energy thing for me. If you got someone else's energy on you, I don't want that. For the very reason of you saying, you have to be aware of your energy and other people's energy. So if you're sleeping with someone, like even if it's your partner, if he going through some shit, she going through some shit, like you have to be very mindful of that. And y'all having sex in the time of that energy is passing right along to you. You know what I'm saying? So that is why you should be more so careful. And I mean, of course, STDs and stuff like that, like of course, but I don't know. Me personally, how I green light something, you know what I'm saying? How I'm going, like, of course I have to be attracted to you physically, of course. Um, but it's more of your vibe, it's more of your aura, you know what I'm saying? Like if we can have intellectual conversations, that's a plus. Um, if you have aspirations in life, like, just being on the same type of shit that I'm on,
Mhm.
then yeah. But like I said, it just all depends. You know what I'm saying? I go through phases, I guess you can say, where it's like, okay, I'm holding back on my seed and I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? And then it'd be like, okay, well, I'll be in a relationship and, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? So it just depends on what I have going on. But uh yeah, right now though, they just have to match my frequency. They got to be on the same shit that I'm on. If not, then I don't know. I pass that shit until I find something that is, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not controlled by sex. So I can go without it. You know
Facts.
what I'm saying?
Facts. I can definitely piggyback off of that and whatnot. And I say with me, it's the energy you give off and whatnot, as in being a divine feminine of higher energy and whatnot. You got to have that energy back. And as in
Yeah.
women, we have that women's intuition and whatnot. So as in with me, mine is very strong and whatnot. As in with speaking, if my other divine feminines and whatnot, we can feel that coming off of you. Me, mine is so strong where it's basically I can look at your profile picture. If I'm looking at your profile picture and I don't feel that energy of like you can tear my ass the fuck up, then no, no,
I got
because
to
that
have you. We got to go. We got to do all this. You want this smoke? Okay, you about to get it. It's about to be a barbecue. Because it's going to be smoke up in here. We're going to move some furniture.
word up and for real, like word up, like that feeling of like as in I don't
Straight
like
up.
regular sex and whatnot. But if y'all just lay down horizontal and they're gonna he get to humping on you and you hump on him and all this that. No, fuck that. No. Like as in when it comes to us and whatnot, that tantric, that like as in that really inner romantic, lustful, that dark type of
Bad.
because as in I have my light and my dark together and whatnot. If you don't put your light and your darkness together and whatnot, that is you're not a whole being. And if you fear your
Bad.
darkness and whatnot, then you're not completely evolved because you need the light
Bad.
and the dark in order to be a whole person and whatnot. So as in like with me, like I said, I can tell like even just looking at your profile picture whether you have that dark nagal masculine and because as in that dark masculine needs to meet that light masculine and whatnot because the light masculine he's going to take care of you, he's going to provide for you,
Yeah.
he's going to he's going to make sure that his female, his family, everyone around him is okay and doing all right. And he'll make sure everything is grounded. But that dark, daggone masculine part, yeah, that's the one that's going to tear your ass up in bed and they're going to make sure that you satisfied. That's
You
that one
gotta,
that's
hey,
going to
you gotta have both. You gotta
yes,
balance both.
daggone, you got
You
to
know what I'm
integrate both
saying?
of those sides and whatnot. And if I don't feel that from you and whatnot, I'm not going to respect you. And I believe that's what a lot of females, a lot of masculine, like masculines, feel like go through and whatnot. Because a lot of masculine nowadays are very unsure. They're very insecure within themselves and whatnot, and they haven't like secured that dark masculine of themselves and whatnot. And I run into that a lot and whatnot because there be
Mm,
males and whatnot. They'd be like, "Oh, I was nervous that first time and whatnot having sex with you because I was intimidated." But if you have like basically you have embodied that dark masculine part of you, don't nothing scare you. If anything, you're gonna dominate. You're
that's
gonna
what
be
I.
in that bedroom and you're gonna dominate. You're gonna you're gonna make her submissive and whatnot and what it like. Because as with me, I can be a switch and whatnot. I can be submissive and I can be dominant and whatnot. And I realize
Right.
that this light. I realize as in my more dominant side, my more masculine side. Because as in with me, my in my birth chart, I have 5 masculine planets and I have 5 feminine planets. So I'm on an equal balance of whatever that I want to. And it's funny because as in with a crab, I'm a Cancer. Crab can either
Right.
be feminine and they can turn to masculine. They can switch sexes and whatnot. So as in with that, I can they're gonna be masculine when it comes they're going to like a more feminine based man and whatnot because I've done run into a lot of men that have more feminine planets in their birth chart. So they love as in a
Yeah.
woman being more like more powerful, being able to take charge in the bedroom and whatnot. But as in with that, I have a feminine side that needs to be also satisfied and whatnot. I want that side anyway because it's more so my feminine side has not been fulfilled as much and whatnot. I have run into let's say only a few masculine men that can actually match me in the bedroom where I can be in that more submissive mode and whatnot and actually embody that feeling and whatnot because the
Right.
femininity is in me. It's not nothing like as in somebody can bring that out and whatever. It's already there. But it's more so if
Right.
I do meet that masculine that's already that wolf that will tear that would give me that type of energy of matching me and being able to put me in that more submissive mode and whatnot, as in being submissive to him and whatnot. It's there. It's already there. It's ready to be unleashed.
Right.
But as
Nah,
in
I
with that,
feel you. I
that's it.
feel you.
Yes, but females, we can literally feel that. We can sniff that out on you. We can sniff your pheromones out of you and whatnot. If you're not giving off that as in that divine masculine energy and whatnot, that's why you're gonna meet females that feel like they're gonna run over you. They're gonna talk shit to you. They're not gonna respect you and whatnot because you literally have not embodied all of that energy within you and whatnot. And then if you do have that unlike divine masculine energy and whatnot and you're more on the feminine side with it, then you may need to go to more more feminine, like as in a feminine energy that's more dominant and whatnot. It's
Right.
like basically, like I said from the beginning, learning thyself. Once you learn thyself and whatnot, and you start going towards the energy, or like not towards, or trying to not trying, but attracting that energy that's for you, you will have a better love life. You got to know yourself and whatnot. And like I said, as in me being a switch, I can go to a more submissive man and be able to dominate in that relationship, but I can also be a more submissive in a more masculine dominant men and whatnot. So I know thyself and whatnot. I much rather I much rather have a more divine masculine type of man and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm about to say a man gotta be a man now. Like I get it's different. It's it's different things going on. And there's nothing wrong with being in touch with your feminine side. Like I said, you have to have balance. Your
Mm-hmm.
feminine side, that's your creative side. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely gotta be in tune with that. But nah, you gotta be a man. Gotta be a man. You gotta stand 10 toes, and you gotta handle business, man. We ain't no more of this sucker shit. No more of this. Like, no, a man gotta be a man, and yeah, stand on his own too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
I totally
you
agree
feel me?
because there's a lot of men
But
here. No, well, it's more women that hate on the toxic masculine. There's a difference between
yeah,
a
yeah, oh
toxic
yeah, for
masculine
sure,
and a
for sure.
divine masculine and whatnot. So as in women, they get tired of the toxic masculine and whatnot that's out here that wants to be coddled. They want to be babied. They think that they're the prize and whatnot. And they
Yeah,
don't have to do nothing out here in this world. And they make their woman work harder than what they go the so-called 50-50 and if think any man that takes care of a woman completely is a simp. I hate that word.
no, no,
They throw simp out there so loosely and whatever. I'm like, it's a divine male that actually takes care of their tribe. So he's a simp. Boy, don't take care
no,
of that
hell
South
no.
Africa where you actually got to earn your wife, sir.
Right, nah, hell no, not by any means, not by any means. And that's what we was here to do. That's what we were created to do, to provide and to protect and serve feminine energy, like literally. You know what I'm saying? So, Goddess, it was definitely a pleasure having you on here. This was a very powerful episode, and I definitely need you on another, like anytime you want to come back, you are more than welcome to come back and because you know what I'm saying, we definitely got to get you on another episode because I want to hop into to like some conspiracy theories and things of that nature
Cool.
next time and get your insight on things of that nature. But for now, y'all, this has been a great episode of Manifesto. Um and we gonna wrap it up. So just real quick, what we like to do is drop a gem for the people before, you know what I'm saying, we get out of here. Just give them just a little brief, like I said, just dropping a gem, just a little brief insight on whatever you feel like the collective need to hear right now.
Um, I would say always believe in yourself. Always believe in the inner understanding that comes up within yourself and whatnot. Don't let anybody else deter you off of your journey. Everybody has a different journey out here. Nobody has the same one. So do not listen to other people that have not been down the footsteps that you're taking. Never take advice from them. Always take advice from the people that have been where you've been. If anything, like I said, the inner understanding that you have within yourself, that is the Almighty Creator speaking to you. Anything that you have not done before is a path that you need to take. Anything that you fear that you've never done before is a path that you need to take. And like I said, never take information or knowledge from anybody that has not been down that path before, because that path is not for them, it's for you.
Hey, so look, that was a great message, Goddess. And by all means, that was very great insight, very great information for y'all. You know what I'm saying? We can't tell y'all what to do, but you know, for anybody that's on the journey of wanting to elevate and be a better person, you know what I'm saying? That's great insight. And my message, I'm gonna just keep it short and simple. Is always operate out of peace and love. Like I said, peace is an acronym. Is positive energy always creates elevation. When you are in the mindset of operating out of love and peace for yourself and everything that's a part of self, which is everything that's around you, you're automatically going to be favored in higher places to you know, so to speak. You feel me? So they gonna always make sure you're protected. They gonna always make sure you got what you need. And that don't get that twisted with the matrix where they want you not having what you need. All right. Everything is always working in your best favor, even if it's uncomfortable going through it in the moment. You've made it through every single problem, any worries that you've had. If you still walking around and breathing, you have made it this far, fam. So keep fighting, focus on self, and do whatever needs to be done, family. Peace and love. This is TPG. This is another episode of Manifesto here at Hood Academy. And we love y'all, man. Peace, love, and light.